After what happened on Friday, it's a phenomenal turnaround, isn't it? It's a short space of time. You must be very proud of that.
Yeah, I think Friday just looked like a game too far for us in terms of the effort, the intensity that we've put into so many matches. I think you can see with that, we also some of the lads that have had to drop out for today. You know, I think physically we're sort of stretched as a squad. A lot of the lads have come back, played loads of games, and it's been it's been tough, and they've done so well. So it's difficult to be critical. You know, Blackburn, we were all disappointed. But I think what has happened is every time we've sort of suffered a setback, I think the response has been emphatic in terms of the next game, what we do, how we go about it. And I thought that was probably one of our best performances, especially with sort of volume of chances in terms of what came our way. I thought we were the dominant team for the majority of the match. And Norwich are a good side. You know, they've got some good players attacking wise. I think they're the second highest goal scorers in the league. So you know they're going to carry a threat, and we're going to have to deal with that. But more importantly, we need to go and try and win the game for obviously obvious reasons, which we managed to do.
Will?
You mentioned on Friday you were still trying to get that balance between having the threat up the pitch and having that control. It looks like you got that balance right today with the number of chances you created, but they didn't really create much, I didn't think.
Yeah, no, I thought the balance was much better. We didn't play enough at Blackburn. That was the first thing. So what happens is if you don't play enough, you don't drag another extra midfield player through, which means when we turn it, they're all intact all the time. So when we're turning it, I just thought we were too direct against Blackburn. We didn't win enough duels, whereas I thought the two centre forwards were a real handful today. But I thought it's because we played behind them, drew an extra midfield player out, put the ball into them, and then we could play for there. I thought the wide players, in terms of Luke and Femi, they gave something a little bit different off either side, but Tristan overlaps Luke on that side when he tucks in. On the other side, Zach sort of supports from behind. So I thought the balance of the team, albeit Zach starting his first match at this level, George is starting his second match at this level, having just conceded 4 away from home. So we lost George Honeyman yesterday, we lost Billy against Blackburn. Lucas Jensen, as I'm sure you're aware, has sort of ruptured his Achilles. And Liam, who's our second goalkeeper, is unavailable, so we've got young George to play. So we've had loads to contend with, but what we haven't done, we haven't cried about it, we haven't felt sorry for ourselves. We've just got on with it and we've dusted ourselves down, and we've put the lads who are available into the team, and we believe that they're good players. We get them organised and let them go about their business, and they've done brilliantly.
I think that's 6 in 7 for Mihailo. That's a great return, isn't it, in the short space of time? And it's what's obviously put you on the cusp of where you are.
Yeah, he's just grown as a player, isn't he? You know, his link-ups became better, he's leading the line better, his understanding of when to press and how to press is becoming better. His movement in the box is a massive thing that I've been on to him since I walked in the building that he needed to improve on. And as you can see with the chances he's now getting, that's improved hugely. We need to bear in mind this kid's 20. Do you know what I mean? He came from a foreign country, it's his first season at the level, and I think, 12 goals or whatever he's got now, which is a remarkable sort of achievement for him personally. But for us, I think we've got to pay credit to both strikers. You know, I thought Josh Coburn was very good for us as well, and they balanced off each other really well.
You also said, if it was right, after the last game, that you felt the belief dipped a little bit at times, but again, to go out and do a performance like that against a team like Norwich, what does that do for the belief, do you think?
Yeah, I think what happens is, but belief sort of stems from performances and winning, doesn't it? So when you don't get them and you don't perform and you don't win, I think naturally belief starts to take a little bit of a dent. But what builds belief back up is determination, organisation, like putting everything on the line, working as hard as you possibly can. So all the fundamentals that really make a sort of successful team, and I think we've got all those ingredients. I think what we just need is we need a bit of time together as a group. But yeah, I said to the lads afterwards, and I've been in this a long time in terms of football. It's a privilege to coach them at the minute. You know what I mean? Just in terms of their application, their attitude, how they approach training, how they treat each other in amongst the building, what their appetite's like, just for every sort of facet you can think of the game. They're a really brilliant group.
Just want to ask about those injuries. Can you tell us more about George's and Billy's injuries?
Yeah, so Billy felt his calf. That's why I took him off at Blackburn. And then George yesterday, right before we went into 11v11 work in terms of preparation for this game, he stretched for a ball and just felt his hamstring. And unfortunately, both couldn't make it.
And are those sort of... it's only 2 more games left in the season, but do you think they could have a chance?
I think they're going to struggle.
Okay, and just on Lucas's injury, How long term do you expect that to be?
As long term as a ruptured Achilles takes, which is it's not pretty soon.
Yeah. Do you think going into most of next season, or just?
Yeah, it's going to be a fair chunk of next season. Yeah.
Okay.
You're back in it, aren't you? Sort of. I know a lot's got to happen in these 2 games, but some results.
Yeah,
went
but
your way today.
when you say a lot's got to happen, a lot happened today.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The other results.
Do you know what I mean? So if their results didn't happen today, it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
But the bit that we needed, where a lot had to happen, it happened. And then more importantly, you've got some of the teams that have still got to play each other. So if we can go and win the next game and take it to the last game, like the stranger things have happened in football. You know, it's what we've got to do is, and I said this to the lads before the game, don't approach the game lightly and then at the end of it have a regret in the fact everything went in our favour. And it's interesting because at half time I got told that everything was in our favour, and I was swirling my head whether to tell them or not. And I did tell them. And the reason I told them is I'm thinking, if I was a player, I want to know what's riding on this game, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I told them right before they went out in the second half, and I think you could see that determination and hunger they had to get across the line.
I just want to ask about home form as well. And like, I know you really improved the away form, but 4 consecutive home wins as well at a time when it really, really matters. You know, even if you don't make the top 6, but it bodes well going into next year and making this place a tough place to come, like it always is.
Yeah, I think, if memory serves me right, it's about 10 wins in 16 we've had,
I think so, yeah.
which in the Championship's tough to do. You know, and bear in mind, if you look at the teams we've just faced, Middlesbrough, Sheffield United, Norwich, I mean, we're not playing, like, the teams we're facing at the moment are, like, they're good sides, they're hard teams to beat. So, yeah, I just think for our perspective, we're just literally going into each game, attacking it as if it's our last game, try to win it as much as we can and put everything into it, and then see what it takes us at the end of it. So, but I think home form, to get the fans on side, to get that belief, is really, really important. You know, and that was something I spoke about when I first came here, because although we sorted the away form really quite quickly, the home form's probably been a little bit of a slow burner. But as you say, 4 home wins in the bounce, some really tough games that we've had here, and it gets the fans right behind the players, and there's a great connection at the moment which we want to try and maintain.
It's going to be quite tough against Swansea as well, considering they've won 5 in a row. So,
Yeah.
you know, to have won 4 consecutive home games going into that is massive.
Yeah, but listen, what happens in football is, like, we were brilliant up until Blackburn. We lost Blackburn, and then everybody will start calling us bottle jobs and all that. Listen, I'm not naive. I've been in football a long time. I know how it works. But what we can't do is listen to the noise. What we've got to do is focus on the next one, because we're not going to win every game. Do you know what I mean? That's not going to happen. And it doesn't matter who you are, you're not going to win every game. So what we've got to do is we've got to focus. We've got to get on ready for the next one. Like I say, don't feel sorry for yourself. Don't get too carried away because somebody says something nice about you or somebody says something bad about you. So what we do is we focus on the next game and we attack it and see if we can win.
Just one thing you said, probably rightly so, one of the best performances since you come here. Is that because it was like all round, because the score, just everything?
No, all round. All round in the fact that Norwich going forward are one of the best teams in this division, and the stats suggest that as well. So people can disagree with me if they want. They've scored the second most goals in the league this season, up behind Leeds. So they're very, very good going forward. I thought for how talented they are, we really limited them. I thought we had a lot of chances in the game. I thought we played some nice football at times, but we also mixed it at times. We also pressed it at times. And successful teams take a lot of different ingredients. It's not just about being nice with the ball. I mean, there's loads of nice teams with the ball. And I think at the moment, like Will says, we struck the balance really well today. That was the most pleasing thing for me.
Brilliant.
Just want to ask about Zach Sturgis first. Like you mentioned, you know, given a left-footed option as well. How do you think he did?
Yeah, I hate not having balance in my back line, so that's the first thing. So he wasn't ready for last week. If he was, he would have started. So we had to go with a right-footed left back, which I think is really difficult. And I thought he did great. You know, I thought he started a little bit nervous. I think you could see he was a little bit nervous in the change room. But it's his first start. I mean, it's a big thing. It's a milestone for these lads. And the magnitude of the game as well, being at home, it was a really important match. So, but I thought how he went about it, I thought he was great. So I was really pleased for him.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Cheers, thank you.